Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me today for one of my patented COMC rummage videos. So those of you who have been around the channel for some time, you know the drill. I have a mild to medium COMC addiction. Just find the site to be a fascinating way to add cheap singles to my collection with combined shipping. And I am someone who tends to pick out singles versus opening packs, just because I feel like it's better value for my collection in the end. And so as a result, I spend quite a bit of time cruising around on COMC for deals, and I have hundreds and hundreds of COMC pickups sort of backlogged, waiting to be entered into my collection. And from that backlog, I chose about 15 singles today, and we're going to take a look. And we're going to start with one that is sort of a tongue-in-cheek pickup. This is from my most recent shipment from COMC that just arrived this past week, the Keith Shore Project 2020 Ken Griffey Jr. card. I'm not going to give, the whole history here because I want to keep this as short as I can, but this card sort of came to epitomize the flippers and investors who got involved with the Project 2020 cards from Topps during the pandemic. Many of you have stories, wild stories of selling some of these Project 2020 cards for exorbitant amounts of money and using those funds to acquire dream cards for your collection. Basically a lot of new people were pouring into the hobby. They were maybe ill-advised or not well-educated on what they were spending their money on, and the project stuff just blew up. So these were printed to demand, and I think the Griffey is one of the latter cards issued, and famously had a print run of like almost 100,000 cards, or maybe slightly over that. So obviously that one is not retaining value. In a monetary sense, I feel bad for anyone who speculated on that card. My copy I paid $2.50 for on COMC. I actually bought 4 of them for $10 many months back, just because I kind of find it comical, and I think its backstory is interesting, and it's a unique look at a point in time where the hobby was pretty chaotic and the world was going through the pandemic. I do like Griffey as an aside, and I enjoy Keith Shore, so for all those reasons, forked out $2.50 for that one. Next up, we got a shiny hockey card. This is a rainbow, which is a refractor of Sebastian Aho, one of my favorite young players in the NHL from Finland, who once again led his Carolina Hurricanes to the playoffs this year, the NHL playoffs, which will be starting next week. So pretty awesome card there. That was dirt cheap, like 30 cents. Love those rainbows. Here's a random one. This is a sapphire card of a Rays prospect, Ronaldo Hernandez. Actually stumbled upon this because I was looking for Ronaldo cards of the soccer player Ronaldo, but I believe this Ronaldo has some tie to the Boston Red Sox. Either he used to be a Red Sox prospect before Tampa Bay, or he's, since this card was released, been traded from Tampa Bay to Boston. I'm not sure, but I love Sapphire, and that was like a 70-cent pickup, so took a flyer on that one. Here's a canvas hockey card, and this is really cool, featuring Sidney Crosby, the somewhat ageless Crosby, who just had another very fantastic season. He's definitely been overshadowed in the last 2 years, especially by Alex Ovechkin and the goal race against Wayne Gretzky's all-time record. But Crosby has kind of sneakily continued to put in good, point per game or better seasons. He's still within the top 20 in league scoring, even at age 36 or 37 here. And has the Penguins in the playoffs as well this year. So pretty cool celebratory shot there. Here's a rare football card on the channel, and I got some feedback recently when I showed a vintage football card that some folks would like to see more football content here. I would like to try to oblige. I don't have a ton of football cards, but I will try to mix in the few that I have more frequently. And this one came in my most recent COMC order, and it is a beauty. Check out this Bowman Chrome Peyton Manning Refractor. So while I'm not much of a football collector, it's not because I don't enjoy the game of football. It's just because I already have enough problems focusing, collecting just baseball and hockey as it is, and I don't really need to introduce, more sports into the mix. But I do love the game of football. I attend usually a handful of NFL football games live and in person every year, and really became a big fan of the sport during the Brady and Manning era of the 2000s and the 2010s, and those great rivalries, and living here in New England, and of course the Patriots winning as many Super Bowls as they have. And, that's the era of football that I kind of look back on most fondly. And Peyton Manning is certainly an important member of that era and one of the greats to ever, play the position of quarterback. Aside from that, I love the 2000s Bowman Chrome cards like this one. So I did shell out, I think, between like $5 and $10, somewhere in that range, for that Refractor of Manning. In a rare case for COMC, most of my purchases are cheaper than that, but felt that one was worth it, and I think I'll be patting myself on the back a few years from now for having picked that one up. Here's a fun parallel from 90s hockey. This is the Rink Collection parallel from 94 Pinnacle. Baseball collectors will remember this same parallel, although it's referred to as Museum Collection in the baseball realm, but always loved these, and picked up this Alexei Yashin, one of the more kind of sneaky good careers. He was a low draft pick and lasted a long time at the NHL level, so happy to grab that Senators card there. Shout out to Slapnuts on that one. Here's a vintage baseball cards. This is from a time when I was just kind of grabbing any 60s Boston Red Sox that I didn't yet have in the collection to try to flush out my team sets a little bit, and found this Billy Muffet from 62 Tops at a relatively cheap price, and it's actually in gorgeous condition. There's a little touch of white on the bottom right corner that you can barely make out, but aside from that, this is a sharp card. And 62 Tops is a set, when I was a kid, I didn't really like it that much. It wasn't, among my favorites, but I've really grown to love the kind of poster tacked to a wooden fence motif of the set. So happy to have another one towards the Red Sox team set there. Here's a modern hockey card from Parkhurst. I bought this for one reason and one reason only, and that is it features the Hartford Whalers jersey. I'm a diehard, or was a diehard Whalers fan, along with all of my family when the team was in Hartford and I was playing youth hockey growing up. Of course, they are gone now, but for a game or two every year, the Hurricanes play as the Whalers. And sometimes I'm fortunate enough that one of those moments is captured on cardboard. So I picked that one up. There's a dinosaurs card here. So we're seeing it all today. Football, dinosaurs, baseball, hockey. This is an Allosaurus out of the 2015 Upper Deck Dinosaurs release. This is a 3D insert that they created that features lenticular 3D cards, much like the Kellogg's baseball cards that a lot of us enjoyed growing up. And I just love that insert set. It's like 42 cards deep, and I think I'm getting very, very close to completing it now. So there's another one on in that pursuit. Here's a cool Blake Wheeler from 2018 Upper Deck Flagship. This is the Speckled Rainbow Foil parallel. I am a huge fan of these cards. I've shown these a few times for other players. Basically, the way this worked, this is a parallel of the base Upper Deck Flagship card of Blake Wheeler. And if you participate in ePack, the app on your mobile device with Upper Deck, and you pull 10 virtual copies of Blake's base card, you can trade those in for a silver card, which is almost like a rainbow foil or like chromium cardstock. And then if you get 10 of the silver foils, which would take 100 base cards, you can trade in those 10 for one of these speckled rainbow foil parallels. So these originate on COMC as part of that ePack promotion. They're pretty rare, and I've noticed they are really, really drying up and getting quite expensive for big stars like Ovechkin, Crosby. And so trying to get some of those middle tier guys like Blake Wheeler while they're still available for 50 cents or less. Here's a vintage baseball card next. I have this in graded format. This is a 58 Topps All-Star Jackie Jensen. And I've got actually this complete All-Star subset in PSA slabs. It's one of the first PSA sets that I ever finished on the registry, but I bought this raw copy because it was like $1. It's an amazing shape. And aside from being a really cool Red Sox card, of course, that was the very first All-Star subset that Topps ever produced as a company. So I think those cards are really cool for that reason, and went ahead and grabbed that one. Getting down towards the end here, I promise. Here's a shiny Crosby, the second Crosby of today's video. Rainbow color wheel parallel out of O-Pee-Chee Platinum. They do these every year. I absolutely love them. I think they are sneaky good cards, and they're a little bit scarce, so happy to grab that Sid the Kid. Vintage baseball here. So this is a beautiful 50s Bowman here, 1951 to be exact, and it features Sam Zoldak. It's So we'll pull this paper here out of the back so you can take a look, but clean back of the card as well here. And I just love any Bowman from, 50 through 52, especially when it's available at the right price with decent centering and a nice presentation like this. So happy to add the latest to my collection in that small pursuit. We got one soccer card here, and this is a guy who has been tearing it up for both club and country this year, as he does every year. Robert Lewandowski, or pronounce it however you will. The man is a scoring machine, and this is a nice Topps Chrome Sapphire card of his from the first year that they did UEFA Champions League Sapphire. I'm a big believer in this set just because it is the first ever UEFA Sapphire set. I love Sapphire, as has been well advertised on this channel over the years, and I think Lewandowski he doesn't get enough love compared to Ronaldo and Messi. He is every bit on their level and a couple years younger even. So this is somebody who, in the long term, maybe could challenge a Ronaldo for like the all-time FIFA goal lead. You just never know. He'll certainly be in the mix for the UEFA Champions League career goal lead, and interested to watch the rest of his career pan out. Shout out to my buddy Peeps, who I know is a big fan. And I've got quite a few other cards of his that I'll be showing probably in a dedicated episode at some point. But for today, there's that Sapphire. Then we'll close it out here with a very nice vintage card featuring the Cleveland Indians and a solid player, Al Rosen. This is obviously for my 1955 Topps set build. I've sort of been picking up a lot of these one card at a time on COMC over the years. When I find nice, clean-looking examples like this at just, a couple bucks, or sometimes, back in the day, I used to get them for even less than $1. And this is a significant addition to that set pursuit, a semi-star for sure, or even star, depending on your definition, and gets me one card closer. Of course, got the Sandy Koufax rookie notch in my belt earlier this year, so adding some of these, more affordable cards from the release to go with that one feels pretty good. So we'll close on that nice vintage Indians now Guardians card, and that is a wrap for today's selection. Definitely random as always. We covered, multiple sports as well as dinosaurs and art that looks like it was made for kindergartners. So hopefully you saw something among the mix that interested you. Certainly appreciate you spending your time here on the channel and checking out the haul. And as you know, I will be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Until then, take care.